in Boatwright. I am an assistant professor in Department of Communication, but I'm also the director of the Social Media Listening Center. In normal times, one of the things that I really value is class discussion. I am not one of the types of professors who tends to stand in front of a class and lecture for an hour and a half, at a time. My mission, my vision is to make classes as engaging as possible. It's a little bit tricky now in COVID times when, online classes are kind of complicating that, but one of the things that I do want to be able to afford students the opportunity is to kind of take some agency in their own education, by giving them the opportunities to look at different perspectives on controversial topics, to kind of broaden their horizon on, some issues and things that are happening around us. And I think it's important to stay informed, and for students to stay informed. And so that's kind of one of my biggest things, is to make sure that I'm giving all angles to a story. I like to learn in class, so I really appreciate the fact that when we have these classroom discussions and getting to work with Clemson students, I learn more, after I come out of a class than I feel like I actually taught. I would want students to have and kind of take away is critical thinking. Just being able to look at one particular topic from multiple different angles, and kind of being able to balance two opposing ideas in your head at the same time, and still being able to make sense of a topic, and quite frankly be able to develop your own opinions on those topics as well. The best way to succeed is just to communicate, to participate in class discussions, to talk about the content, relate it to the things that you experience, the things that you see, and most importantly, talk to your faculty, talk to me. I think one of the most effective ways of learning and teaching is by having these kind of one-on-one conversations where we can dive deeper into how you're learning about certain concepts and topics, how you're relating them, and more importantly, how faculty can help you achieve your goals. I think it's really important to be able to recognize that, these are challenging times for everybody. And I think faculty are trying to be as cognizant of that as possible. When I personally see a student that might need a little bit of extra help, or is having a difficult circumstances or something along those lines, I try to maintain open communication. Again, right now in the midst of COVID and everything, that might just simply be shooting a quick email just to say, hey, just touching base, seeing how things are going, let me know how I can help moving forward. And from there, that's really just the start of communication. I want to be able to be an advocate for students, so that they know that they have someone in their corner, backing them up as we kind of work through this crazy period altogether. I thoroughly enjoy the engagement that we have. I know it's limited, and I know it's not in a traditional format, but I love the fact that it seems like students are taking the content and taking it, very seriously still, and going through and engaging with it, and making great points and having good conversation, even though it's in this online format. It's so fun to see that from our side of things, to see students actively engaging with the content, actively engaging with one another, and I think developing some meaningful conversations. I just miss the face-to-face. I think you probably get that answer a lot, but I tend to thrive kind of in the classroom environment where I can actually have conversations and meaningful interactions. And not that you can't have meaningful interactions online, but I just there's something about being in the classroom, being there together, that I think is so integral to the college experience, and I just can't wait to get back to that setting. Yes, I will say that I have almost exhausted my Netflix options at this point. We have watched all kinds of different shows and things. We tend to binge pretty heavily. And we also bought a Peloton because we needed to have some kind of like physical exercise since gyms closed and everything. So that has been an outlet for us. Walking around campus and seeing people back, it's interesting because I did my undergraduate at Clemson. I did my master's degree at Clemson. I taught here for a couple of years before I left to get my PhD. And so now this is my first year back. And it's so weird to be back, but not be back, if that makes sense. So I can't wait to get to a point where we can, walk across Library Bridge and give high fives on Fridays, and go to football games and tailgate. I love seeing students like walking around campus on Saturdays, at games and things along those lines. I just think that on campus in-person interaction is something that I can't wait to get back to. My research area is primarily kind of rests at the intersection of three things. I look at social media analytics, public relations, and sports communication. So specifically within that, my dissertation research looked at online opinion leadership in the context of controversial social issues in sports. So I looked at who the opinion leaders were in the conversations around anthem protests by Colin Kaepernick and Megan Rapinoe, and kind of did some social media analysis to identify those influencers, and I did interviews with them. I actually reached out to these people who were complete strangers, and wanted to get some insight on what were their motivations for participating in these conversations, and what they feel like they got out of those conversations. I'll be honest and say it's the students. It's working with you all. It's something that, again, I went through this department. I'm an alum of the Clemson Department of Communication, and in a lot of ways, I feel like it's an opportunity for me to give back to a program that shaped and formed me so much, and I just hope to be able to repay that in some form or fashion every semester with every student that's in my class. It's a small town. It's a college town. I think that's something that is really unique about Clemson. I love the food in Clemson. The fact that there are so many amazing restaurants. It's so fun for 9 months out of the year when students are on campus. It just makes the city kind of come alive. I have a lot to choose from because like I said, I've been in Clemson for quite a while, but I think probably my favorite memory would be the 2016 national championship game. It was really fun to me and really special because I got to go to the game. Deshaun Watson and some of the other players were some of my students. And so I got to see them, excel at like that highest level in person. I got to share that moment with my parents, who are also Clemson alumni, and a lot of my friends and things like that, who were all at the game. So I mean, I think that was probably the peak, like, Clemson overall experience for me. My master's program was also a really big part of that. I got to meet some of my closest lifelong friends to that program, and I will be forever grateful for that. I love to go out and tailgate. I love to go out and just kind of see people every week that, you don't get to see very often, but it's this one thing that kind of brings people together every week, from across the state and across the country, honestly. I get to see friends from college, I get to see friends from my master's program, I get to see friends from living in Clemson, and making connections here. And like I said, I get to see my students, I get to just kind of walk around and engage with them at in a not formal classroom environment, which I think is really special and meaningful too. I think the biggest thing that I would say is for students to really take ownership of their time here. There are so many opportunities and so many different things that you can pursue that will make your college experience even better, that will enhance your professional experiences, enhance your professional potential, and don't be afraid to take those opportunities. I can't wait to get back on campus. I can't wait to actually be in a classroom, and just to be around everyone again.